Good evening everyone. Come on in. Welcome to my living room. I am Juju. I am that mountain moving giant slayer, and this is Let's Talk. It is March the 23rd, 2025, and tonight we will be winding up our series on financial literacy with financial planner and expert Mr. Troy Booth. So guys, come on in, and as you come in, please like and share this video. Like and share the video. Invite your friends, let them know that Juju is on the air and that we are giving out some very good, some great information tonight, something that we can all use. Hello, Mr. Oscar Penn. How are you doing this evening? Welcome to the show tonight. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, it is always a pleasure to have you and to have an opportunity to speak with you. So come on in, guys. As you come in, tell me hello. Let me know that you're out there with us. And like I said, please like and share this video. Invite your friends and let them know that we are on the air and that we are having our fourth part of financial planning and financial literacy with Mr. Troy Booth on tonight. So come on in, and thank you for joining us. As usual, we are looking forward to this awesome discussion. Hello, Mrs. Zan Davis. How are you doing this evening? So glad that you could join us tonight for tonight's show. Please, as usual, I ask that you like and share the video so that everyone will know that we are here and that we are giving out this great advice. And I have, hello, Mr. Darlene Todd. As I told Mr. Booth last week, most people would charge you a lot of money to have this, to share this type of information. And so the fact that Mr. Booth is providing it to us for free, I want us all to take advantage of this opportunity. So yeah, so please like and share the video. Hello, Miss Darlene. How are you doing today? It is such a blessing to be able to join you guys on this evening. It's been a beautiful day outside today. I hope everyone has had an opportunity to spend a little time at least outside enjoying this beautiful day. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Miss Darlene. Been a busy as always. It's been a very busy week, and so anyway, I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little bit distracted trying to go. Oh, so I'm showing y'all my living room. At least it's clean today. But I'm trying to get all my ducks in a row tonight. So anyway, We are just looking so forward. Thank you, Miss Darlene. I have on my birthday t-shirt. It's not my birthday. My birthday was March 5th, earlier this month. But I spent the whole day getting my hair done, my micro locks. So I've gone from the regular locks to the micro locks. So we're going to see how we enjoy that. Hello, Miss Tamika Penn. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for shopping with us yesterday. And while I have an opportunity, I want to take this time out just to say thank you to all of those that shopped the spring pop-up sale on yesterday at St. Luke. And I want to take time to say thank you to all of the vendors. We had a lot of vendors there yesterday. And I want to thank all my vendors and all of the shoppers on yesterday. It was a nice time of fellowship and fun and laughter. And you know, there's nothing I like any better than some good laughter. So it was a great event, and I thank everyone who came out to support in any way. Alrighty then, guys. We're waiting for Mr. Booth to join us, and I'm sure he'll be in here shortly. If you guys would please, thank you, Zan, for sharing the video, and all the other guys, if you don't mind liking and sharing the video, and then just let everybody know that we are on the air and that we are getting some information that is of vital importance to each and every one of us. Hello, Mr. Troy Booth. How are you
Hey,
doing?
good evening. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good this evening.
Great.
Thank you so much for joining.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, of course. And let me see if I can catch, excuse my big hand, trying to get my volume right. But anyway, I think it'll probably just be us. Hey, Jeanette, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. How's everything going? Thank you for joining. Mr. Jackson said he's having issues with his Facebook, so we're going to go ahead. Oh,
Okay.
wait a minute, there he is.
Okay.
Um, Wait a minute. Couldn't get him in there. Mr. Jackson, if you don't mind trying again. But anyway, Facebook have been attacking me and Mr. Jackson the last couple of days. They've been kicking us out and throwing us out, and we jumped back in. So we just playing hopscotch or double dutch or whatever we doing with Facebook.
That's
Um,
all right. It's okay.
So, you doing okay this evening?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Feel good that I'm here to be able to try to help someone. So I'm excited.
Well, we are so excited to have you. And of course, I am Juju. I am your host. We are here, Let's Talk. And of course, Let's Talk is produced by my dear brother and friend, Mr. Jerry L. Jackson, and hopefully he can join us on tonight. And this is just a reminder that this isn't intended to be a news show, but we do try to steer clear of gossip and things that we know are not true. We want to create a safe environment for you guys to express your opinions and ask your questions. So please feel comfortable doing so. Remember that at any time, if you have a question or a comment, put it in the chat and we will try our best to address that question or comment. Tonight, we are continuing our series on financial literacy. I want to take this time right now to thank Mr. Troy Booth, who has been so generous with his time and with this invaluable information that he has provided us over the past several weeks. And so, with that being said, we're going to let Mr. Booth go ahead with his presentation. And I think he's going to be talking about trust and estate planning on tonight. So that's something I think all of us probably can benefit from. So, Mr. Booth, you go ahead and take it away. And Mr.
Absolutely.
Jackson, if you want to try to join in again, please do so. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Booth.
Okay, before we actually get started, we always do a small recap of what we have actually discussed. What's very important, everyone, is changing your mindset first, being responsible for yourself, your financial landscape, for your family, and creating generational wealth. The first segment, we actually dove into mastering budgeting, credit, and financial planning. Also, in segment number two, we discussed retirement and investment planning as well, securing your future. And that last segment, three, we expanded on when it comes to home ownership and real estate development. Now, a very important piece that we want to be reminded of is managing debt and improving your credit score are essential steps towards home ownership. A strong credit score not only helps you qualify for that mortgage, but it also ensures you get the best possible interest rate. By effectively managing your debt and maintaining a good financial standing, you set yourself up for long term financial success. And that gets us to this point here. Say we have done the steps. We learned the 50-30-20 rule, which means 50% are our essential items that we have, 30% represented those non essential items, and the 20% represented your retirement and savings. And we expanded upon what debt to income ratios are, what those numbers represent, and how important those numbers are. We talked about the top and the bottom number. The top number representing what the total housing expense you can have when it comes to your mortgage payment, and that bottom number, which represent not only the mortgage, the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, but all the additional bills that you have. And we talked about some great numbers. We talked about that 28, 36% on that top, and we talked about 43% being that bottom number. Now, we have expanded, so we have educated ourselves. We are self empowered now. We know what to do with our finances. We know what to do when it comes to purchasing a home. We know about the many different programs that we went over. We talked about FHA, we talked about VA, we talked about USDA, we talked about conventional, home ready, home possible. We talked about the first time home buyers program, which was 100% financing that will also include funding for you for closing costs and prepays. Now, we have totally expanded. Now we have gotten everything right. We have built assets over time. Now, what do we do long term? How do we prepare for our family? How do we prepare for generational wealth? How do we prepare for that financial landscape? So, when it comes to how we pass things on to our loved ones, we have to deal with estate planning. Okay. When we pass on, the estate has to be settled. Okay, so that means one or two things. Either your family, which is you included, but you have passed on, are directing what's going to happen, or the local government, state, and federal government is going to direct what's going to happen. So that's what actually happens with us when we pass on. If we don't have our business in order, then we have to turn to the legal system to settle the dust for us. So that this is why our people around the black belt and abroad have had so many issues when it comes to air property, right? So someone passes on and we don't have a will in place, We don't have any instructions in place. And a matter of fact, because you have passed on, someone else has to represent you at that moment. And this is where the local government, the court system has to step in, and you have to settle the estate. Now, there are several things that we want to consider here. How do we avoid these things? How do we prepare a better path for our families? So that's what we're going to actually talk about tonight.
Okay.
A family
Oh,
trust, protecting assets, ensuring proper distribution, and minimizing taxes. Okay, we're going to get into what is a trust, the types of trust that I think that everyone should be aware of, protecting your assets with that particular trust, ensuring your proper distribution and minimizing taxes. And once we kind of get through the platform, then we can kind of start our Q&A session there, because I know a
okay.
lot of people are going to have some questions. So what is a trust? A trust is a legal agreement, right? It
Mhm.
is a contract between the person creating that trust, the grantor, the settler or trustor, and the person managing it, which is referred to as the trustee, for the
Trustee.
benefits for someone else who is the beneficiary. Okay? So the way we want to simply imagine this so that it will be in layman's terms, think about a basket. Okay, and what we're going to do with that basket is we're going to put all our assets within that basket. Your home, bank account, life insurance policies, and investments. So let's recap on that again. Is that, remember, this is a contract. This is a contract that's been established so that you no longer own anything. Okay, remember, if you pass on, the ownership is still in your name, and someone has to represent you and settle your estate. Well, if you transfer everything into that basket, into that trust, it is no longer yours. Okay, now you are the one who set up the trust. Okay, and the trust has the instructions in it how to distribute these things out. And this is how you avoid probate. I think we got a little noise in the
We
background. I
do
think,
that have some
okay,
noise in the background, and I don't know what that
but
is.
it's okay. It's
Well,
Okay.
okay. So
let me.
with
Is it from me?
it, you probably, you if you got something, probably need to turn something down.
I'm closed
Oh,
off
okay.
in a room.
Okay. Well, it's coming from somewhere, but it's okay.
Is it is
I'm
it
great.
people talking or what is it? Just
It sounds like
Some
a
noise.
television or somebody talking or something. It sounds like somebody talking.
okay. Well, let me log out. I don't know. Let me.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We're good. We're good. Don't worry about it, Jerry. Just stay with us here, because I want to make sure you hear this part. So we're dealing with that basket. Okay. So we're putting our home into that basket. We're putting our bank accounts into that basket. We're putting our life insurance policies in that basket. We're putting our investments into that basket. So you're sitting over here alone. Now, one very important thing I want to bring up is when we open up businesses and we progress in life and we're dealing with a local bank, it doesn't matter that we have a legal entity set up. What that bank is going to require of us is that we be personal guarantees on those particular loans. It doesn't matter. So you have set up all this legal stuff to protect you, but the banks are bringing you right back out in the line of fire. So it's very important that those individuals that are going into business, those individuals that are creating assets, those individuals that have investments, to really truly consider sitting down with an estate attorney, okay, so that they can discuss these different things. Now, there are a lot of different trusts out there, but I only selected a few that will represent what the blue collar and the white collar worker would need, and that business owner that is actually, say, a net worth under $12 million. So that's a lot of people. Okay, so these trusts, the popular trust overviews that I'm going to go over with everyone, will actually fit everything that everyone needs to actually plan for. Okay, so and those trusts are going to be the revocable living trust. That's going to be one that we're going to kind of talk a little bit about. Number two, the special needs trust. You know, when we deal with our disabled
Okay.
children, you know, they need to have something. So if mom and dad leave something for them, you know,
It's
they
good.
have someone to manage that
Okay.
on their behalf, and then they're able to get money from the trust. And also, the key is they will also be able to continue those benefits they receive from public assistance.
Oh,
Okay, so these
okay.
are things that are very important when we are talking about our special need kids. You know,
Okay.
so this is a very good trust to keep in mind. The dynasty trust would be the next one. The Kwame trust will follow that, and the irrevocable life insurance trust. And the life insurance trust is another important piece. Remember, if if I own a lot of assets and I want to transfer those assets out, and I know that the Internal Revenue Service code says, you know, hey, $12 million, or excuse me, $16 million is your cap. But now we know for 2026 that that's going to decrease down to around $6 million. So if you have someone that owns several pieces of real estate, they're going to have an issue for is paying a tax liability. So with this additional trust as the irrevocable life insurance trust, that can be over to the side. And then when something takes place, that policy can actually pay and decrease that limit that you have, that Internal Revenue Service saying that each person for in their trust can have. So these are things that you can structure to protect yourself, protect your assets, and protect the generational wealth that is to come in the future. So let me go back over that again. Revocable living trust, special needs trust, dynasty trust, crummy trust, irrevocable life insurance trust, which is, you know, a lot of people say ILIT when it comes to that particular one. Okay, revocable living trust. This is how you avoid probate. You retain control while alive. Now,
Okay.
this is very important to understand, and I know a lot of this language is foreign to everyone, so I'm going to repeat myself, and I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to stay away from some things that really will kind of confuse everyone. So we're going to keep it very simple. This particular trust, this revocable living trust, which means you can change it at any time.
Okay.
You, as the grantor, okay, the settler or the trustor, set it up. You can also be the trustee, and you also can be the beneficiary, okay?
Hmm.
But what's important here, we just got rid of probate judge. See, so now you have to worry about dealing with them settling your estate because you have taken the necessary steps. If anything, everybody needs to have a revocable living trust.
Okay.
Everybody,
Okay.
everybody. Because what this does, we talked about self empowerment, remember, changing the mindset. Changing the mindset in a way where we're consciously aware of what's going on in our lives, and we're participating to improve the lives for our family down the line, which means I'm going to be prepared. So this is a preparation moment, the same way we talked about housing, the same way we talked about the 50-30-20 rule, the same way we talked about the debt to income ratios, 28, 43%. These formulas and these methods is what we use to improve our preparation. So that's what this is. So now we're talking about one thing that could have saved many, many families. And we're talking about our community here. where individuals thought that
Mm.
the will was good enough.
Mm.
Okay, and so you had heir properties, all right, that was deeded to children,
Mm.
and then one child got smart and said, "Well, I want to sell.
Mm.
I want to sell." So now, because there's nothing to protect the interests of the family, this person being selfish
Mm.
says, "I want to sell." So that means everybody else got to follow suit. Someone puts money in their hand, and that creates a chain of events that goes against what this was actually done for from the very beginning. It was for the family. But because the family seed that participated, and let's go ahead and put it out there, sharecropping, where work was exchanged for land, and then this land was deeded over, but the system knew that, hey, if they're out there naked with just a deed and a will, this land can be taken back with
Mm.
the right methods.
Mm.
So what the living trust does for us people is that it protects our family. Let me say it again. Our family, not you individually. See, if you're thinking about yourself, you're going to miss it because
Okay.
this requires something of you. You got to prepare and you got to move through these steps. So I want to make sure everybody understands that the revocable living trust can be changed, but that individual that originates that trust, the grantor, the trustor, okay, or the settlor, okay, can also be the trustee, and they can also be the beneficiary. Okay,
Mm.
so we're going to avoid probate. You retain control while alive. No separate tax returns is required on this. Get that. On this particular one, this will be reported on a 1040. The difference is it would not be, you know, in just an individual's name. It is the language, it is the law. So for an example, Troy Booth, trustee of the Troy Booth Revocable Living Trust. See that? See, it just removed it from Troy and pointed it to the trust.
Close. Okay.
Okay. So now it's in the trust. It's not Troy Booth social security number anymore. So
Mm.
now as we create the trust, remember what we said. What is a trust? Trust is an agreement. It is a contract. Okay. It's an agreement. It's a contract. You know, so you move it from here to there. And so you understand, all right, well, the contract is in place to perform. And so that's really what the trust is. It's like it's a vault.
Mm.
Okay. And when you put everything in the vault, it has certain rules to protect everything that's in the vault. And so if something is going on with me over here individually, it's not going to impact the trust. I'm
Okay.
separate from it. But I am the one who originated the trust. I am the trustee who's managing the trust, and I'm the beneficiary. Now, what's so important is you're directing the future for your family. And that's what's so very important. So I just kind of want to spend a little time on the revocable living trust. So everyone understand if anything, if I was everyone, the first thing I would do is find me an estate attorney. Also, you know, with having a investment broker by your side, and there are several, you know, Schwab, Dean Witter, many out there. Edward Jones is just a lot of different people out there. And as you're investing and creating assets, you want everyone to understand that you are for the future, you're for generational wealth, you are creating your financial landscape that your family is going to actually follow. See, when I give instructions, see, it doesn't matter about what little Johnny wants to do or what little Karen wants to do. See, I have everything in order. It's the same way when someone passes on. If you do not have your business in order, I don't care who it is, it's going to be conflict. So what you want to do for yourself is make sure you manage that conflict. And the only way you're going to manage that conflict is by having things in place that is going to force the direction. No, we're not going to talk about it anymore. This is on paper. This is how we got it. And we're going to move through this. And this is going to benefit everyone else. So the next one we want to talk about is the special needs trust.
Okay.
This particular one here, you know, we all got individuals, children that may have disabilities in our families, and and they need to be protected. So that's what the special need trust is for: protect inheritance for someone who is disabled, keep access to government benefits. As I said earlier, is that once that those assets are moved into that special needs trust, then that individual can actually still benefit from the public assistance. And also keep in mind that this person may come into some money, and if they're 18 years of age or older, they can actually put money into this trust as well. So it's a lot of different things that a person can do with these trusts. Each person scenario is going to be different. That's why you want to plan. That's why you want to have the partnerships in place. With what we do, real estate is what I do, and all that I do, and accounting for those larger companies that deal with these type of assets. Well, in partnership, what we do is we push people to those individuals we trust based on the models that we talk about. So as I discuss everything, everyone understands that I talk about things in a particular manner. It is a model that I think that is very important to establish. Is we're going to use these type of methods to accomplish the goal. So trustee manages the assets for the beneficiary in this particular special needs trust. Also, just a little side note, I'll talk about one of the things when it comes to the special needs trust is the first party special needs trust funded by the beneficiary. Often, you can be protected from lawsuits or inheritance, maintaining eligibility for Medicare and Social Security. So as we develop these methods and these systems and processes, what it does, it really opens the playbook that has been kept away from our community for a very long time. It takes some thinking, it takes some planning, and it takes asking questions with a level of confidence. I always speak about consciousness, a level of awareness, and that's what we have to do. Changing the mindset to say, hey, I have made it thus far, but I can improve. I can make things better. So that's what we want to do. The next trust we want to talk about is the dynasty trust. And I'll say again, remember, a trust is an agreement. It is a contract. Okay? It is an agreement. It is a contract. It is put together by who? The grantor, the settler, or the trustor. Who manages it? The trustee. And who gets it? The beneficiary. That's the person who benefits from that. Okay. Dynasty trust, multi-generational wealth planning. And this is when we're used to, now we're familiar with how things actually work. And now what I want to be able to do is I want to pass, say, my assets that are in my trust to not only the generation behind me, but those that are going to continue to follow on. And some of the things that we look at, like the Rockefellers, they have what we call the waterfall. dynasty trust, that that method that they use, where actually it just rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls. And one of the things that is so interesting that they do when it comes to the life insurance policy, X number of dollars or a percentage goes to, say, that child, and then the other percentage stays in the trust to continue to build generational wealth for the family. So these are the things that we really want to change our mindset about. We gotta deal with funeralizing a loved one, and sometimes our families are not prepared for that, right? Well, someone passes on, insurance money is not right, or you don't have the necessary funds needed to put them away as a loved one should be. So, by thinking about these things now and planning now, it is going to really set the tone. It's really going to improve the quality of life for the family. And I want to say it again, it's not one person. We're talking about in our community, since we're such connected as a family, we need to rediscover what that means and be responsible for the greater responsibility. Be accountable for that greater responsibility in order to create sustainability. So this is what we want to do. Protection under this for divorce and lawsuits. Okay, so let me kind of talk about that for a second. And the dynasty trust is that, say for example, I have funds that's coming to me out of that trust, and I'm married, right? And what I do is I use the funds from the trust to buy that house. Well, if we get a divorce, I'm protected. I'm protected. That money, that sale, and all that, it won't be no division where I'm going to lose part of what I invested in. Right? That's going to go back to the trust, because I don't own it. I'm doing everything from the trust. So this is another thing, when as our families build our generational wealth, and then our children are getting married, or the one who is involved is married, something takes place. We know we have a high rate of divorce in this country. And when those things take place, this is one thing that can be in place to protect your family generational wealth and financial landscape. So that is very important to keep in mind as well. The next one, which is crummy trust. This allows you to give tax-free gifts to children or grandchildren. Remember, the way everything happens in our country, even at the pump, think about it this way. When you get paid your salary from your job, you're taxed. You're taxed federally and you're taxed state. Okay. Then you go to the grocery store and you buy groceries. Then you pay a what? Another tax. You go to the pump to get some gas with the money that you already been taxed on, and you get some gas and you tax again. You see that? So you have to keep in mind, when something happens and you pass something on, or you give something, there are rules. So we need to know about those rules. When we're talking about estates, estate taxes. When we're talking about gifts, we talk about gift taxes. What do those numbers look like, so that we can get things in place to save on taxes? So those are the things that we really want to be mindful of, is that trust allows us to take advantage of the rules in the rule book. So this is why we want to educate ourselves. And again, we're kind of staying on the outside. We're just talking about the outer layer of the shell, so it will, get an interest, spark an interest in everyone. Hey, I really need to take a look at this, at least on the revocable living trust level, so that I can protect the interest here, so I don't have to deal with probate. If you just got a will, you got to go through probate. That
Yes.
costs money. If you don't have a will, and then you got to go hire an attorney that's got to set up that process. You got to get a federal identification number, all these different things. So you got to have $3,500, $4,500 to settle the estate of your loved one. Now think about that.
mm,
You got 4 or 5 different people that are your loved one, right? And they don't have a will. And they got a house, they got some cars, and they got 2 or 3 children. That sounds like everybody we know, right?
mm,
So not being prepared, now you got to go to a lawyer to settle the estate, which means you got to go through probate, right? So you got to have thousands and thousands of dollars when everyone can just really say, hey, listen, we're going to develop a model for the family and we're going to duplicate that model, right? So once we start duplicating that model within that one movement, our credibility as a family moves to an entire different level. Okay, so now it's all about excellence. So we are creating excellence, and that's exactly how we want to go about doing this. So again, on the um, Crummy Trust, this allows you to give tax-free gifts to your children or grandchildren. Okay, great for college savings. Okay, avoid gift tax reporting using annual exclusions. So what does that mean? Is that you need to learn about what the annual exclusions are when it comes to giving a gift. It's just that simple. You go to the IRS.gov website, you type in annual exclusion for gifting. Boom, you get the article right there in front of you. And now when you go sit down with the estate planning committee or planner or attorney, you can have these discussions because the paperwork's got to be done properly to get everything transitioned to your trust. Okay. The next one, number 5, that last one, the irrevocable life insurance trust, the ILIT. Okay. Now, this one, the life insurance proceeds avoid estate taxes. This is where we got that person that owns, say, $12 million in assets, and they're getting ready to transition that to the beneficiary. And they have the ILIT, irrevocable life insurance trust, set up as well. And what happens upon their death, it activates that policy. So now, since 2026, that limit is dropped down to $6 million, but their assets were $12 million. So what happens is that, say you got $16 million, not $12 million, but $16 million, drop down to $6 million, and say that the irrevocable life insurance trust has a $11 million amount. It pays towards those assets in that revocable trust or that dynasty trust, and it reduces that 16 million down to 5 million. You see what I'm saying? Now you paying less estate taxes as you roll forward to your generational wealth or your financial landscape that's in place for the family. Okay? Funds, estate taxes with no life, with no fire sale. What is a fire sale? Okay, well, those limitations, okay, if you go over that limit, then you have to sell to reduce it. So that's what a fire sale is called, fire sale of real estate. Okay. Next, trust must own the policy, not the individual. Remember, as you transition to the trust, you're removing yourself from everything. Okay. But you are the grantor, all right, you are the settler, you are the trustor, okay? In that revocable living trust, you also can be the trustee, and also you can be the beneficiary. The dynasty, this is for generational, okay? Moving things along the way, all right? And we already talked about the special need. We talked about the crummy. Now we on the last one, the irrevocable life insurance. Okay, protecting assets with a trust shields assets from creditors and lawsuits. Irrevocable trusts legally separate assets from you. This is why you're doing it. Creditors can't touch them. Divorce and family disputes ensures wealth stays with your children, not ex-spouses. Okay? So understand that a lot of the issues that we have faced as a community can be resolved by engaging and learning about trust. So we can go to a whole nother level as a community. And that's what we want to do. We want to inspire, we want to encourage those of us to improve. Okay. And that's all of our communities is as well. But where I stay, where I come from, I know what the experience was and has been. Okay. And in other communities that I serve in business, this is how you learn. You learn, this is how y'all do it. Tell me a little bit about that. Oh yeah, this is what we do. So getting this valuable information that encouraged me and inspired me to do better. So that's what we're doing is we're trying to create a different type of mindset to inspire and to encourage to create a level of excellence in everyone's mind. If I'm aware of excellence and I'm going after excellence in my brother and my sister, my aunts, my cousins, everybody else is thinking, hey, we're actually moving towards excellence, then a rhythm is going to start, and then that will become the new or the revival of what was once old. What we learned a long time ago is to take care of family, and we need to get back to that business itself. Okay, financial management on this as well. Remember, trustee manages the money for the children of loved ones who may not be ready. Okay, so you have that protection to consider as well. Who's going to be the trustee? They have power. Okay, business and real estate holdings, keeping family businesses or property safe and passed down smoothly. That's what we want to do. One thing for me, what I have in place now is I don't want my family to be in a situation where they're talking about this house and this business and that business. No, what I want to be able to do is create an opportunity to improve the quality of life, and that I set the tone, and then they are encouraging and they will improve that process, and then that will become something that will be used for the generations to come. Avoid probate. Remember, avoid probate. Trust past assets privately and quickly. No court, no delays. Custom distribution plans. Distributed at 25 after college or after the milestones. Okay? So you got the rules there. Supports multiple generations. Set up a dynasty trust to support children, grandchildren, and beyond. Section 5, that minimizing the taxes, okay? Reduce estate taxes. We talked about that. Trust like a bypass or a ILIT reduces taxable estate sizes. That's what we're doing, okay? Capital gain taxes. Strategic asset transfers reduce capital gains, okay? Tax efficient transfers, GRATs and ILITs, transfer assets outside the estate tax free. So these are things that we really need to start learning about. And it's not one set rule. And the reason why I want to say it that way, if you really understand how our country runs, then you will understand that you need to have a mindset that is strictly business, because that's exactly what it is. United States of America is a corporation, it's a business. And when we start talking about government, we're so personally emotional. You can't be personal emotional about business. You got to do business. You got to handle the business the right way, the proper way, and then the system will work for you. So these are the things that we need to do. Yes, it's very important that we have great policy. You know, we want to have that. But what's important is if I'm going to play the game, I need to know the rules. I need to have the playbook. You know, I said this the last time, because I know how to make a touchdown does not mean that I'm winning the game. Okay. Yeah, I know how to run the ball. I can come across the line, make a touchdown, but did I win the game? No. What we're talking about tonight and what we have talked about in all the segments is how do we win? How do we win? Excellence. How do we get to that level? How do we change our mindset so that we can win? Number 4, avoid inherited tax. Irrevocable trusts bypass inheritance tax in some states. Example, talked a little bit about this in 2026 is state tax exempt drops from 12 million to 6 million. It is 12 million. I made my notes. I'm sorry about that. Make that little correction there. 12 million to 6 million. A life insurance policy inside an ILIT can fund the estate tax without selling the real estate, which means we discussed this before. Remember what real estate does. Real estate is an asset that is immovable, which means it's not movable. What is movable? Cars, mobile homes, anything that have wheels or axles. That is what we consider to be movable. Real estate is immovable. So it's going to gain a profit margin. It's going to gain an equitable position. And keep in mind, when you keep that primary home 3 years out of 5, if you sold that, you pay 0 taxes on that. But here's the key. You cross collateralize that asset to buy additional real estate, right? And then what you do, you place insurance policies against that real estate and you borrow money, okay, which means you pay yourself by borrowing the money and you're living, okay, something similar like a reversible mortgage for someone that is in retirement. But instead of it being reversible, what this would be, I use a credit line to pull profitability, equity off of the properties. I'm living, okay, and I can continue to invest, and my real estate continues to make 12.5% or higher, okay, and my assets in my trust continues to build. These are the methods that we want to learn about. See, we think working and being successful is about hitting the clock. See, that's what we was taught. Gotta work hard, gotta work hard, gotta work hard, gotta work hard. No, you gotta work smart. You need to know the game. When you learn the game, you learn the rules in the playbook, then you can change your life. And that's what we want to discuss. How do we do this? How do we improve? Okay. Final thoughts, guys. I know when I get started, that hour goes kind of fast. Trusts are not just for the wealthy; they are for the wise. They protect what you've worked hard for. They ensure your family is taken care of. Help avoid court and tax nightmares. So let's open up the board for some questions.
Okay, so I'm gonna. I saw some questions pop up, and I'm gonna let Mr. Jackson deal with those. But I had a couple. Okay, so you would have the trust in addition to your will.
Yes, you can. Mm-hmm.
Are
Yeah.
you, or would it be in place of?
No, 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 no. What
No, no, no,
remember
no.
we're talking about see your will is for you individually. Okay.
Okay.
You can have a will, but it really it really doesn't play like the trust.
Okay.
Okay, so if I got a will, that will's got to be probated. Remember what we're doing? We're
Mm-hmm.
trying to get rid of probate. You can have a
Okay.
will. You can
Okay.
have a will. You know, if you, as an example, say I don't put all my personal items in my trust. Okay, oh, I got a will, and I want to leave Jerry all my personal items. That's not in my trust. Well, that's the will. But guess what? that sucker got to be probated.
Okay.
So now you understand what is the trust for? Is to get rid of the what? Courts.
Of course. Okay. Okay.
Then you
So
have to
you
go. You have to do the probate. See, that's what the trust is for.
so you could put all of your assets, all of your belongings into a trust.
Remember, we talked about the revocable
Mm-hmm.
living trust, and we talked about putting everything in the basket.
Everything in the basket.
And
Okay.
I know we're gonna ask those questions over and over again because I know everybody's saying, "Wait a minute now, we've been doing this thing wrong." That's the truth. We've been doing it wrong. We've been doing it wrong. Don't point no finger at anyone. Just accept the fact that in our community we've been doing it wrong, and so
Okay.
that's where we are.
Okay. My next question is, okay, now I know people contest wills. Can they contest trust?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So like if say if I was married and I've just seen this so many times, Lord have mercy, and I have a will and I pass on to the great beyond, but I left all my stuff to Jerry instead of my husband. My husband could come and still get a portion of
Yeah,
my
and
inheritance. With the trust, he
right,
couldn't do
and
that.
see, and that's the whole point. That's why you're doing
Okay.
the trust. See, we do not want to commingle here. We don't want to take the oil and the water and we're shaking it up and see if we can get them together. No, they're gonna separate. Once you stop shaking it, the oil gonna go one way, the water gonna go one. That's exactly the will and the trust is gonna separate.
Okay.
They do not go together. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty then. And so would you have multiple trusts? I mean, some of each of these are irrevocable or revocable, a dynasty trust. Would you
You can
have
do
multiple?
you can based on your needs. See, it goes back to that. You know what Troy's doing over here is not what everybody else needs to do. You
Right,
know, I
right.
I own a lot of real estate, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
what my concerns are is that the real estate continues to earn money for the family when I'm gone.
Okay.
Everybody else you're gonna get taken care of. But what my main concern is to create a vehicle that will continue to move forever. That's my goal.
No.
It's not
Okay.
even I'm not interested about who gonna get what. What I'm
Okay.
interested in is opportunity, preparing the way. See, that's what I'm doing. I got the shovel in my hand and the road is very rocky, right? So with my movements, what I want to do is take that shovel and move all the debris out the way so everybody that comes behind me have a smooth ride. See, we're not worrying about who gets what. Everybody's going to get a piece of the family business, but you're not going to control the family business.
Okay.
Those instructions will be in place. That's the same thing with a divorce, same thing with someone trying to contest something. Remember, I said our families around the black belt and across the country, if they had a trust in place, and it
Mm-hmm.
could have been a land trust,
Mm-hmm.
we would our level of wealth in this country will be on a whole nother level because the truth is, and not just in our community, not just in the black community, in other communities across the country, people land have been taken from them
Mm-hmm.
that they worked hard for. Okay, you can find stories. I mean, if I just start telling you about things just right around here, up the road, properties that are selling for $2 and $3 and $4 million. How all that property actually got established in order to the profitability now that is being earned today is on the backs of families that they took it from, and everybody is smiling as they get the checks across the table, but they took it from families. See, and see
Mm-hmm.
those families they did not know, and that's what we're talking about here. How do we start to change the mindset so we can protect ourselves? It's not about what I'm trying to do to keep from people in my family. Is what I'm doing to improve the quality of life, if that makes sense. If everybody thinks about it that way, is we're thinking about how do we improve the quality of life for our families, creating a great financial landscape and a great generational wealth process.
Okay. Mr. Jackson, you had some questions out there?
Yes, I have two. Most of them I have been answering based upon what Mr. Booth has been giving. He's been giving some phenomenal information, and thank you so much. The first question is, please explain again why families need to avoid probate.
Why family needs to avoid probate is that you have zero control. You're depending on someone else to tell you what to do with your stuff. That's what you're trying to avoid. You're setting the trust up so you have the instructions in the trust. Back to the will. See, the will can be contested. Okay, okay, we got an issue right there. But when we started establishing the trust, okay, the revocable trust where I can be the grantor, the settler, the trustor, I can be the trustee, I can be the beneficiary. Okay, I have all of that there. That protects that whole process. I don't have to depend on the court system to tell me what to do for myself and my family. I have the instructions legally. Remember, this is a legal contract. This is a legal agreement that you're putting in place, not just a will. Remember now, we talked about probate, about the families that lost land. Think about that. How did they lose the land? Because of loopholes with the will. Everybody thought that the will was solid, right? The will wasn't solid. As soon as that one person said, hey, I want to do something different. So then those individuals that knew about, okay, this is how we get around the law. This is how we use the law so that that person can sell and force everybody else to do something. With the trust in place, that would have never happened.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Great information. Next question. How do you get a trust in place when there is a survival deed already in place?
Well, with a survivor deed in place, and so this is talking about, all right, so we're talking real estate here. So when we have a primary residence, okay, I'm married, something happens to me, the primary home, not my other real estate, the primary home goes to my spouse through survivorship. Okay,
Oh.
so I'm assuming that this person is talking about that's how it transferred, and then maybe something on the back end with some children, or somebody don't promise somebody something. Remember that who has the deed has the ownership. So whoever has the ownership can do what they need to do to establish a trust. So I hope that that kind of lead that person in a different direction. It's based when you got a deed, like you own your house, you have a deed to your house. If you want to establish a trust, then what you're going to do is with an agreement, you make an agreement with a trust, you're going to transfer your ownership to the trust.
It's
And you just the
going to my
trustee.
it's
And
going
you would just be the
to my
trustee.
baby. Hmm.
Okay?
Okay. All right. Great. For those of you that are asking about a manual, I want you to log in and check BNB LLC has a wealth of knowledge on the website. And also, you can contact Mr. Troy Booth at 334-524-1660. I hope that's correct. I'm doing
That's
this
correct.
off the top of my mind. So, again, that number is 334-524-1660. But most importantly, go to BNB LLC website. We have posted a myriad of his information on the links, and I'll post that again so that all of you can have direct um, asset to the assets. And Fidelity.com has a lot of great information
Yes.
about trust, and then IRS.gov has a myriad of information, and I have posted tons and tons and tons of information in the chat based upon what Mr. Booth was providing us. Those nuggets were golden, even platinum. I saw someone in the chat said Black excellence. Black excellence at its finest. And those are all the comments and questions, but Julia, I have posted a lot of the information that Mr. Booth gave us in the chat.
Yeah.
So in your downtime, you can go
Yeah.
back
Okay.
and look at it. And there, I put some links in there for you. Lots of very good information, but we have viable information in this Black Excellence with Troy Booth.
Thank you very much.
Give
I
him a
appreciate it.
call at BNB LLC. Again, and I'm going to post that information in chat, but that phone number is 334-524-1660. And I'll post the QR code and all that information. But if you go to his website, and you can even Google his website, and everything will come up there for you. This young man is willing to help the people and not charge you one iota. Take advantage of the
Yeah.
time while it's there at no charge, because you could be paying thousands of dollars for this
Just to get
golden
this
information.
information.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
important to take advantage of this gentleman who is providing all of his knowledge and just placing it into our minds. It is phenomenal. So please take advantage of this. We as a people are suffering when it comes to estate planning. I have learned so much. And thank you so much, Mr. Booth. I appreciate you.
Oh, you're welcome. And, hey, it's all about. It starts with the mindset. What we want to do is be intentional. You know, if we're not intentional, then we cannot receive change. When we're intentional, the change is going to make everything better for everyone. Harmony across the entire community, across the country, and across the world. This is what we're about: is serving and giving those who are in need.
Yeah, this has indeed been great, and it's a whole lot of information, but a whole lot of great, very useful information, things that, of course, we did not know about the difference between the trust and the will, and like you said, everyone says, okay, you need to get a will, get your affairs in order. But I have seen on multiple occasions where the will was, not
Contest.
enough, or
Yeah, right.
it was contested, and like you said, you were at the judge had the final say so, and so this is great information. What type of attorney would we go
an,
to in order
an,
to
an estate
establish?
attorney, and when we do when we set up the breakout session that you guys are going to do, what I would like to do is actually have those resources there,
Okay.
and keep in mind through the the Greater Auburn Opelika Realtors Association. We're going to be offering a lot of different platforms in partnership with you guys to bring this to the community. But what I would like to be able to do is actually have hands-on the
Okay.
resource that can actually help people. So we're kind of working on that, because it does cost money when you're dealing with lawyers and
Right.
things of that nature.
Right.
And we're trying to figure out how can we get this done to have, say, payment plans, or
Right.
have a plan of action in place that a young family can take advantage of and walk through the steps, as we do when it comes to home ownership. And another thing, to my team here at BNB and Associates, I just want to give a shout out to them, because without them behind me, none of this is possible. You have to have a great support system, and family is everything to me. So thank you guys.
And then I have one more question, Troy, and then I'm gonna let Mr. Jackson do his thing. Um, do you have like a toolkit that could get a person started? Because like here I am, I'm 56 years old, and I wouldn't even know where to start with developing a trust. What would I put in the trust? I know you're telling me everything, but
Yeah.
what does everything
And
look like?
right. And that's what we're working on now. The book that I wrote actually is just dealing with the real estate end and all this experience over 30 years that I accumulated. What we want to be able to do is I don't want to dive so deep into it that it runs someone down a dark hole. We want to
Right,
keep everybody encouraged and inspired. So we're working on that. That's why the session, being on stage with a microphone in my hand, and I can walk down and touch someone on their shoulder and say, hey, I feel where you are. So let me tell you, for your circumstance and your situation, this is what I suggest you do. See, that's going to be different for everyone. So the way I'm bringing it is to really change the mindset to get everybody geared up,
thinking about
get
it.
everybody on fire, right?
Okay.
And now we got to come back and say, okay, now the first step everyone needs to be able to do is you need to have this resource. You need to have an estate planning attorney in place. You need to have a financial advisor in place. You need to have a commercial banker in place. You need to have a real estate broker in place. You need to have a mortgage broker in place. See, all these different things. Everybody needs to have those relationships that they don't have. And that's just everybody that's on right now. Those that I just mentioned, if I would do a survey and say, listen, tell me who have at least
Right,
three out of those five things, and everybody be like, well, I'm close, but I'm not there. So
right.
what we want to be able to do is change the mindset first, and then have the conversations, and then have the breakout sessions, and actually have, say, attorneys there.
Okay.
Okay. And then where I'm the expert in the real estate and the banking end, then my team would be there. And then the Greater Auburn Opelika Realtors Association, that entire team that we have of real estate brokers and other real estate professionals, other professionals as well, that would be there to assist. And then we just put our arms around everyone, because that's what's needed. It's not that people don't want to do. They just don't know how to go about
How
doing
to,
it, and
right.
and they're not encouraged. So we need to inspire and encourage first to change the mindset so everybody will be self-empowered. When you self-empowered, then I don't care. I was telling Jerry earlier, I said, man, I sold a farm today. I was in a place I ain't never been, but I walked in there with total confidence, and I owned the place like it was mine.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
exactly what we want everybody to have, is have that real driven drive to get it done. And so if that's the case, we can always help somebody.
Okay. Well, all right then. Thank you so much, Mr. Booth. This
Thank
has
you.
been awesome, and we will stay close in touch, because we need to get this forum, this session, in-person session together, the symposium, sooner rather than later, because yeah. We've been doing stuff the very wrong way, and we want to get it right for ourselves and our future generations. So thank you so much, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you so much, Mr. Booth. Just so that you know, NARAB will host events with Mr. Booth, facilitating more information to come. So
Okay.
that's really exciting. So I am loving the partnership with Mr. Booth and Let's Talk as we continue to educate our people. Education is powerful, which leads to success. So here are our upcoming announcements. Next Sunday, March 30th, we will be talking about here on Let's Talk the dismantling of the Department of Education. We're going to be talking about how will that impact you as an individual. Next Sunday, we will be talking about the dismantling of the Department of Education. Just A reminder, we are continuing with our fasting, praying, and alms giving during these 40 days of Lent. Please make sure that you include this nation, our government, and those in positions of power in this country in your personal prayer time. As we continue to celebrate Women's History Month, Women's Her Story Month, please don't forget to celebrate the amazing women in your life. We have quite a few. We're very excited about this year's annual Juneteenth celebration, which will culminate on Saturday, June 28th, from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. on the historical grounds of the St. Luke Methodist AME Church. And we're going to be having a phenomenal event. And this year's theme is From Chains to Change, honoring freedom and embracing inclusions. Again, the event will be held on the campus of the historic St. Luke Church from 4 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. Notice the time change. We did that with and on purpose to alleviate the hot weather. It has been unbelievably hot in the last Juneteenth events. So the later the evening, it'll give everybody a chance to get themselves together, be hydrated, and come on over and celebrate together. At this time, we're currently asking for vendors, sponsors, and entertainment. If you are interested in participating, please contact Julia Ardeen Thomas, Joyce Duchess Thomas Vincent, or myself, and please stay tuned for additional information. If you are looking for your Mary Kay consultant, we have none other than Joyce Duchess Thomas Vincent, who is an independent Mary Kay consultant, and she will be able to supply you with all of your Mary Kay skincare and beauty needs. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Divinely Guided podcast on YouTube. You can catch the new episodes each Monday. They drop about 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, featuring the phenomenal and dynamic mother-daughter duo of Duchess Thomas and Adrielle Vincent. I will be dropping the link for more information. Please subscribe to Juju's Dollhouse YouTube channel. You'll be able to keep up with everything going on with By Juju for you, and you will be able to catch any additional editions of the Let's Talk shows that you have missed. And of course, and lastly, By Juju for You is a proud sponsor of Hold Up the Light, which is Huddle. I turn it back over to you now, Juju.
All righty, Mr. Jackson, we're way over time, so I want to say thank you to everybody. I do want to say be on the lookout. It's been a minute, but I am going to be dropping a new doll in the very near future. So yeah, I look forward to the new doll. It's been a minute since I've had one. But thank you guys so much for everything. Of course, once again, thank you, Mr. Booth, so much for your time and your talent and for sharing with us. Mr. Jackson, thank you so much. You know, I love you. And you can't do nothing about that. But anyway, I am Juju. I am that mountain moving giant slayer. I'm walking by faith, inspiring hope, and showing love all along the way. And until next time, I wish you guys much love and many blessings. Good night. Perfect heart.